All right, you guys, let's take a look at fixing this damage. So we're going to see if we can get this pulled out and keep the patina of it. Let's take a look at it. So he got in a wreck and he couldn't get in the hood to get his spare out, so they had to cut it right here. So we're going to have to weld that up and then pull the damage out, straighten out this, and we're going to try and do it without doing any filler or anything like that. We're just going to try and get it to where it looks good. We've got another hood. This could easily be straightened, but we've also got that hood up there, so we'll figure out what's best. And then looks like the hood handle got broken. He's got a new hood handle on that one. And then we got to straighten out this apron and kind of weld it back together. It looks like we can do that. We don't want to replace it. We want to keep everything with original paint on it. So let's bring it up here and see what we can do. I'll talk to you guys a little bit later. All right, so we're going to take a look here at what we got to do. Normally I would just go behind and push this out, but because it's cut right here, it kind of makes it hard for me to do that. So what I've got to do is I've got to use the welder, and I've got this plate here that I'm going to just weld on somewhere, trying to figure out where to do it. Just throw a few welds on here. So I've already cleaned off a ground over here. I don't know if you can see that. A little ground, I got a place to ground. And I'm just going to clean off a little bit of metal there and then start pulling it this direction, because you know obviously it was hit going this direction, so our job is to pull it back out kind of the way it went in. So this looks like where the point of impact would be, and I'm going to go ahead and straighten that out a little bit, and then we're going to straighten out this and weld that back together at some point. But I think I'm going to do some straightening first and then we'll go from there. So I'll bring you back in, set it up, and weld it on. All right, let's take a look. I got that welded on. I'll let you guys watch here. Oh, that's it? Oh, man. Didn't do anything. Hoping I was going to push that back on there. Nope. Border power at all.
a big chunk of money.
Oh yeah. For anyone.
You have to really make sure you want it, I guess. Hammer. There.
It's not a virgin. It's been hit over there before. Way far out. Quarter power in there, I think. Get the jaws in there. Almost got that. My pry bar at. about what I need. All right, that's what we've got so far. Man, it's a lot better than it was, but it's still a long ways away from a fender being able to go on there. I'm gonna have to, I think at some point here, I'll do a little bit more straightening in this corner because I can't get in there once this is in. Maybe I'll straighten this out behind in here a little bit better. And then start welding this back in, kind of straighten it out, weld it in. Maybe start porter powering from there to here and kind of straighten that out. This metal is really stiff. It's hard to work with, but anyway, original metal, no rust on it, you know, really not too bad. I mean, obviously there's some rust on this car, but it's just a driver, so we'll get it back on the road. So after looking at this for a little while, I decided to go ahead and separate these two panels, and then I can try and hammer this one straight and hammer this one straight. Kind of got the inside about as far as we're going to go with it, most of it. Kind of got this thing just about ready for a fender to go on it. So I'm going to weld some nut certs in there. Going to knock out a little more out of that kink. Still don't know how I'm going to do that because, man, that metal is stiff. It's not wanting to move with anything. Kind of really beat on it, which I don't like to do. I like to stretch stuff when it's like that, but this is pretty bad. So we're going to continue on. I'm going to keep cutting away. I've got my air chisel trying to knock out the too hard to drill in some of those corners. I got like one right in here that I just can't get to. I'm having trouble with, so I got to get that last spot weld out. Once I get that out, I can take this piece out. I'll bring you back in. Whew, man, this thing's hard. This is a lot of people will go, oh wow, that was a really bad wreck. This was a 15-mile-an-hour wreck. So I always tell people, driving a VW as your daily driver, as your only car, is you're taking your life at risk. Just a little 15-mile-an-hour wreck. This is what happens. So I mean, it bent, you know, the inner panels here. It bent. This right here has even got a little kink right there, which we're gonna not be fixing that. We're just trying to make it so that it's drivable. The beam is bent. That's going to get replaced. The front gas tank it had the 12-gallon tank in it, and then that's ruined. You know, we may try to fix that a little bit later in the video. You know, look at this thing was kinked here. The door was even pushed back. The impact from 15 miles an hour just from the jolt broke the glass in the front. It wasn't even, nothing hit it. And look at the steering wheel is bent. So that's 15 miles an hour. No brake pedal. He didn't get a chance to even touch the brake. It was, you know, it's crazy. What happened is he was turning, he was going straight, and right when he saw it happen, he just whipped the wheel to the right as hard as he could and barely got his foot onto the brake pedal, and that was about it. And yeah, that's how bad it is from that 15 miles an hour rolling. See, I'm gonna get this apron. It's not gonna be perfect. Again, we're just trying to get it to where the hood will fit on it, which is it's a real challenge trying to do that. I mean, look at these kinks here. There's a really kinked bad right here. There's another kink underneath that piece right there. You really need to rip this thing off. If I rip this thing off, I could get it straight. Because I need to put a punch on that, knock it down. And you know, when I bust out the tree stump, you know it's bad. So that means I'm reshaping metal, making new metal, you know, taking old crumpled up stuff and turning it into metal again. So that's what we had to do. So anyway, we're getting it on the apron. We got a hole again. We got all this stuff. The shape is there. We just got to get it straighter. And we need another day on it. So I'll bring you guys back in tomorrow. I got a lot of tools out, a lot of tools for this. My porta power decided it was the last day of its life, so the end of that thing broke, but I'm using my 10-ton to operate all the parts for that, because that's a really good one. I'll rebuild it one of these days here. Just the pump, just kind of works still, but not really. And I thought it was just low on fluid. It's not. So anyway, a lot of tools out, a lot of stuff to climb over and walk over and just keep using stuff over and over the whole time. So it's a lot of work. Talk to you guys a bit later. All right, I know the lighting is kind of screwed up right now. Let me see if I can get you guys in a better spot. I don't know if it's going to help any, probably make it worse. But anyway, it's not helping. What I got to do is fit this fender on here, so let's take a look. You guys are sitting on a weird spot, but it'll be all right to see this. You can see when I line up the bolt holes. See that the front has to come out. See if we can get you guys a better camera angle. Let's try it right here. You can see right here there's a lot of stuff going on, but trying to get one thing to line up, right? You see the front is not far enough out. So the apron has to come out more. So this was a 15-mile-an-hour accident. It's barely moving. But that's how much damage it does. You didn't get a chance to really hit the brakes. So anyway, we'll use the quarter power. And I've welded in up here to give it, I know that that's supposed to line up, right? But this was cut out, so I don't know. So I'm thinking if I weld this in while it's cranked out, okay, I'll put my long tongs on there and give it a weld along somewhere where it butts up right here. That'll kind of keep it from going back. As soon as I let this off, it goes back in, and then I'll start working on that. Don't know why it lines up down here and it doesn't up there. Anyway, like I said, we're just going to try and get the fender on to make it a driver, but just doing that's going to be tough. This quarter should be replaced on this thing. It's so bad. I'm one for saving them all the time, but this one was pretty bad. Pretty bad one. So let's weld that up. Once I get this fender line up, you can see it's pretty close now. I don't know if it's got to go out a little bit more, but all I got to do is jack it up. Put the jack underneath it. You can see it's cut right there on the bottom. And if I jack it up, it's going to bring it forward just a little bit more. And line up that line. And I'll tack a few spots there. Well, it's going to take a miracle, but somehow it's going to have to work. Well guys, this is what we were looking for here. Nothing perfect, because this car, obviously you can see it.
Much better in the sun, huh?
Right, let's take a look out here in the sun where we got it. Yeah, there's still some bow going on in the hood, but I can't push it down. It actually lines up once you put it in the latch. We don't have the latch yet. But again, this car, if you look at it, this is the way it's been for years. We weren't trying to restore it. We're not trying to preserve it. It's just resurrection. That's what we're going to call this. It was dead, and we just wanted to resurrect it back to, you know, look at this thing. It's supposed to be like this, you know. And if we put a new quarter on it, that just wouldn't work. Once if I shut this all the way, but it gets hooked on the end of the metal, so I don't really want it. It looks pretty good. Look at that hood. I could do a little more work to that and make it, you know, finish that hood out, no problem. I've taken worse hoods and made them drivers. Remember this scratch right here was a big dent? Push that out pretty good. And I can get in there again with a rubber hammer, do a little bit more, but I think we're happy with it the way it is. Just to get it back on the road. Now I've got to change the front end and make it roadworthy and safe and all that, but at least, you know, you can put a bumper on it now. That's the whole thing. Is once the bumper's on it, you really aren't going to even notice that there's anything done to it. It's going to look like it used to. So anyway, that's it for that. Unfortunately, I didn't get to show you guys put the fender on. The fender, we had to put the bolts in the back and the bolts in the front and then arch it, and that's why it kind of has this, because there's no way I get that quarter back in shape completely. It just was too bad. There's no way. Like I said, that was a quarter, you should replace it. There's no way to. And to replace that quarter, you got to pull the body off the pan and everything. So we're not going there. This is back. This is kind of an 80s, 70s, 80s restore. You know, 70s, 80s, get it back on the road thing. That's what we're trying to do, because he just drives it as a daily driver, and he might do it again. You never know. Hopefully not. Anyway, we'll talk to you guys in the next one. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed it.